Hello Virgo, welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie and this is your April 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find all sorts of goodies to explore, including a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of the reading. But I would first like to remind you that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please use your discernment and take only what resonates with you and leave the rest. I would also like to share with you that I've been feeling like this reading has been held off for me sharing it with you up until this point because I feel like the solar eclipse and retrograde energy that we have coming in here at the end of the month is really going to be impactful towards what's coming in. So that could mean that these things don't stir up until after these things have taken place, or maybe start kicking up while they take place. That's not to say that you may not have been experiencing some things in the reading prior to that, but it just feels to me like there is this power behind the eclipse and retrograde that could be influencing what comes through here today. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Let's jump in and see what you've got going on here. So I am very excited to be sharing this reading with you. I have a spread here that I created, which dropped into my field at the end of March, and I've been anxiously waiting to share it with you. So we are going to be looking at what you can do to align with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness, what's helping you to evolve, what's limiting your soul's evolution, and some advice, encouragement, and guidance for you moving forward. So very, very excited. Let's get to it. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, what can Virgo do to align with their highest timeline and Christ consciousness this month, April 2023, please? What can Virgo do to align with their highest timeline and Christ consciousness, please? Okay, thank you. I actually just heard the words loosen up, so I don't know if that resonates with anyone. What's helping Virgo to evolve, please? Wow, that was fast. Okay. What is limiting Virgo's evolution? What is limiting? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, you guys, 1 second. Those are on the floor. Let me grab those. How would you like me? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead here and get some advice for you. So please, angels, if we could have some advice, encouragement, or guidance for Virgo. Thank you, angels, for... Okay. Lots of things coming through for you, Virgo, from the angels. My goodness. All right, let me just get these and we will jump in. All right. So what can you do to align with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness? You do have your sort of light divine protection, cords cut, and breakthrough energy. So here for you, Virgo, this card showing up tells me that something that you can do to align with your highest timeline is to literally release things that are not serving you. You know, and here's the thing, I'm sure you probably see this a lot in, you know, new age spiritual communities and all over the interwebs or socials and things like this. You know, but I really do feel like this time that we're in currently, right, is one of release. Right, we are certainly meant to be releasing things that aren't serving us, and this isn't just for you, Virgo. This is for everyone. But I feel like for you, with this being the first card out and it being the basis or foundation of your entire reading, currently, I really do feel like there are some choices that you need to be making. Okay, I feel like there are potentially, now this could come from a plethora of things, okay, but just to name a couple that are coming to mind, I feel like this could be you releasing people, living situations, behaviors, paradigms, beliefs, traumas I'm getting. Yeah, I feel like those are a few of the things that were coming in. But I feel like this is something that needs to be done for you so that you can align with your highest timeline, because I feel like these things are holding you back. I also feel that because the Sword of Light is one of divine protection and is often or is tied to, if you will, Archangel Michael, who does happen to be the master protector. I feel like this is for your protection in some degree or another, even if you don't understand it. Okay, so for example, if you are being asked to cut certain people, it's probably because they're not good for you. There's some aspect of their existence in your experience that is not conducive to your growth, that is not helpful for you, right? And this could be a multitude of things. This could be the energy that they carry with them, that they bring around you. This could be them talking about you behind your back, or conspiring, if you will, against you behind your back, or that they could betray you. You know, that again, it could be a multitude of things. But this is something that needs to be understood. Okay? I also feel here, I'm getting the word truth, right? Because as I'm trying to connect with what you can do to align with Christ consciousness, I got the word truth. And I got it as I'm looking at this breakthrough energy portion of the card here at the bottom. So I feel like there are some truths, and maybe this is what needs, maybe these are decisions, okay, that I was picking up on, like decisions that need to be made, and things that need to be let go of, because perhaps there are truths that you have not been willing to acknowledge or accept, or that perhaps this eclipse or retrograde is going to bring in this truth that is meant to provide for you this breakthrough energy and align you further with Christ consciousness. Because I want to lovingly say that if you are not in a state of truth with yourself, if you are not being honest, and I mean radically honest with yourself, you are not in alignment with Christ consciousness. Period. Okay? So I do feel like for you, this is about, I'm seeing it as like almost like chess pieces, because I'm seeing it as like it's about you being here but needing to move here, right? For your protection, for your growth, for you to advance. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? We do have another card. We have Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, and no wrong path. So here's the thing. It's interesting because the question we're asking is, what can you do to align with your highest timeline? And I most certainly feel that it's aligning with your purpose. So perhaps there are things in your experience, people, places, jobs, situations, behaviors, traumas, woundings, paradigms, beliefs, whatever that may be, that are preventing you from aligning with your purpose, right? That could potentially be, or maybe not even preventing you, but just maybe it's preventing you from aligning with your highest timeline. In the sense that, for example, let's say you wholeheartedly feel in your being that there's something that you should be doing, and you have a certain person in your life who's like, that's not it, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, that's ridiculous, that's foolish, right? And so then you're like, oh well shit, maybe you're right. You know what I'm saying? That can prevent you from aligning with your highest timeline, because then it throws you off of your path, your soul's path, what you're meant to be doing here. Right? And again, like this says here, this is divine protection, because the whole purpose of you being here on this planet, a soul in a human physical body, is for you to evolve. It's the whole point. right? And we get so caught up in this physical material world that we forget. I mean, don't get me wrong, we come here with amnesia because it is we're meant to be learning. It's a school. Okay, so yeah, how, if we knew all the answers, it wouldn't be a test, would it? Right? So yes, we do forget that that's why we're here. And that the density of this planet at this point is so far down, is so heavy, so physical and material, that we oftentimes are like we completely lose ourselves. I have done this myself. Many have done this, right? And it does prevent us from being aligned with our purpose, from being aligned with our highest timeline, from pursuing what we are meant to be experiencing here, which is our soul's evolution, right? We get so focused on what's going on around us that we pay no mind to what's going on within us, right? And so oftentimes, and this happens to pretty much everybody, to the best of my knowledge, from as far as I can tell, who goes through a spiritual awakening or who starts to ascend, right? You often find yourself alone. Like, I mean, like, really. And that can be very challenging for people to have to deal with, right? I, like, in my own personal experience, just to give you an example of like how big this can get, I have literally, like, my 2 kids, and like, I don't like really, like, I could literally count on one hand the amount of people that are in my life at current. And that includes my, like, I don't even talk to family members at this point. Okay? Because it's literally, what happens is you will be put into this state of isolation so that you can learn the lessons that you are meant to learn on your own without the noise of the external world. Now, that's not the case for every single person. Maybe you aren't necessarily alone physically. Okay, but you could most certainly feel alone because no one else around you seems to understand what it is you're experiencing, or the things that you are feeling called to do. And that's it, right? Like, your purpose, your path is not meant to make sense to anyone else because it's yours, right? Which is, you know, it's interesting. I mean, and here's the thing, like, I feel like, again, like I said, I feel like there are decisions that need to be made, which is part of why I feel this crossroads has shown up here with this Akashic Stargate, right? So I do feel like what you can do to align with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness is to literally allow yourself to release what needs to be released so that you can align with your purpose, which will then throw you or thrust you, I feel, closer, if not in alignment with your highest timeline, and can allow you to move forward from this potential crossroads that you've been at that's been preventing you from moving forward. I feel like there are decisions that need to be made for you to move forward, for you to advance. Again, like seeing it like chess pieces, right? Like these things that are happening are to protect you, which in chess, I mean, that's, you're protecting, right? You're protecting your queen and all the things. Like, I'm not well versed in chess, I'm just seeing it and having things drop in, so forgive me for that. But you know, that's how I'm seeing this, is like you right now, the way that things are unfolding and what you're being asked to do in order to align with your highest timeline is like chess. It's strategic movement that's taking place here for your protection, for you to get aligned with your purpose, for you to move forward. Okay? And you know, it's, I feel like, I don't know why I need to say this, but I feel like whatever you've done up until this point is what it is. Right? Like, I don't know what that means for someone, but it feels like there's this energy coming in of, because the no wrong path, here's the thing, personally, I don't agree with that. I'm just going to say that. I don't agree with that. Because you can most certainly, like, you may have heard of like 3D Earth and 5D Earth, or old Earth and new Earth. And, old Earth is going to be kind of like this hell that you're living in. And certainly that's not the path that you want to choose. And how you choose that is by staying the same, right? So, I mean, I do feel like for your soul's evolution, like there is a better path, a higher timeline for you to choose, right? Like that's not to say you couldn't find your way somehow, redeem yourself, or what is the word? Atone. Thank you for, the choices that you've made. That's not to say that you can't do that, because you can, absolutely. But, I feel like why go to hell if you don't, or why truck through hell if you don't have to? You know what I'm saying? It's like work smarter, not harder type of thing. But I do feel like there is a message here with this no wrong path, in the sense of whatever you've done up until this point is what you've done. It is what it is. It's about where you move from this point right now forward, how you choose to do that. Okay? So take that as it resonates with you. So what is helping you to evolve, Virgo? Okay, you do have the Servant in the reverse or shadow attribute position, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Okay, that's a pretty deep one, Virgo. So here's the thing. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like there could be some of you who are like, oh, the example I used was like, oh, I feel like I want to do this thing. And there are people who are like, that's foolish. Like, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Right? And it could be because there's like this material aspect, which I spoke of, right? How this earthly plane is very dense and very much in that materialistic, physical space. And so you get caught up in what's going on around us, right? And part of that is, whether or not you're able to provide, so to speak, for yourself. Which, I want to lovingly say, if you are someone who puts all of your faith in yourself to provide for you, certainly you're going to fear moving forward without having control over everything, right? However, if you are someone who puts your faith in God or in Christ, in angels, I mean, that's what faith is, right? Faith is essentially waking up in the morning and putting your feet on the floor, expecting the floor to be there. So, very similarly, right? If you have, and that's not to say that you should just be sitting on your couch doing absolutely nothing, okay? Because faith without works is dead. However, and I just want to be very clear, I'm not talking about like religion here. I'm not talking about God or Christ from that aspect. I just want to make that very clear. But if you are, if you put your faith in God, then truly, wholeheartedly, then you will trust that God will lead you wherever you need to go and will provide for you along the way by some means, right? So for example, I mean, you can think of, if you are someone who maybe, has heard or listened to, biblical or read biblical text, right? You can think of, essentially, Christ going about his work and being provided for along the way with his apostles, right? Oh, go here and this will be there. Let's do this. Like everything will come because that is what God does. God provides, right? But again, it's like faith without works is dead. So if you're not taking the action, if you're not taking the steps behind that, nothing's going to happen, right? And just to bring this into this world a little bit, for example, if you want to date somebody, although I'm sure this has happened, more likely than not, your perfect person is not going to show up at your doorstep. You have to actually go out and put yourself out there, whether that be a dating site or going out to a singles, you know, space or meetup or something, right? Like you actually have to do something. You can't just sit and, like, it doesn't work that way. Again, like I said, I'm sure there are people that have experienced that, but even so, like, you have to have a reason for somebody to come to your door. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, here with this showing up and saying what's helping you to evolve is using the lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. I feel like you may have been, I feel like it's, how would you say? It almost feels to me like it's being shown to you how that is not the point, right? Like I'm sorry, you guys, I'm trying to translate this in a way that's going to make sense, to try to share this with you. But I mean, it's like, how would you say, if you are solely based in material things and like, I don't have what I need, okay, well, not doing anything is not going to bring that to you either. And I feel like you're being shown that, right? I also feel like, so here in the light attribute position or upright position, the servant says, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. I'm actually getting fear coming up as well here. So, you know, this tells me that, yeah, I feel like you're being put in positions where maybe you feel like you don't have enough because your faith is being tested, which is meant to help you evolve. Now, you can sink and spiral and use that as an excuse. I don't have what I need, so I'm just going to sit here. Or you can say, okay, clearly God is putting me to the test. So then you ask, or, you know, thank God and your angels or your higher self and universe, your team, your spiritual team, for showing you what you need to do, the action that you need to take so that you can move forward. Okay? So if it's, I don't have the money to do it, what do I need to do? Okay? This is very, very interesting to me. But I do feel like it is helping you to evolve because I feel like it's showing you what's important. Right? I feel like it's encouraging you to move, to take action, which is, I mean, there's things that need to be moved about, decisions that need to be made, right? There's a crossroads here. So I feel like that is what this is showing you. That is how this is helping you to evolve. It's putting you in a position so that you have to make a decision. You have to move forward. Okay? What is limiting your evolution? So we have here first the Exorcist in the reverse or shadow attribute position, fear of facing your own demons. So what is limiting you is the fact that you are maybe not willing to address the parts of yourself that have to be healed, the things that you fear. I mean, for me, Virgo, this card speaks very plainly, very bluntly, very straightforward, especially in this position. What is limiting your evolution? Not facing your shit, not healing your traumas, not letting go of what needs to be let go of. And this could be, I mean, this could be things like, you know, codependency. This could be, I'm trying to think here of some ways that this might show up. You know, it could be codependent things, feeling like you're weak, abandonment, rejection. I mean, there's like a plethora of things that it could be, and it could be many, many things. Anything that puts you in a state of fear or shame or guilt or apathy or dread or helplessness, right? Or things that you've experienced in your past that have created those things: heartache, rejection, disappointment, despair. Okay, like needing to heal these things. It can also be rage, right? But resistance to these things will absolutely prevent you from evolving every time. And actually, I got like a little little thing here happening with my throat. So I definitely feel like there's an aspect here of not being truthful, either with yourself or others. Okay. And I mean, here's the thing, right? You have cords cut, sword of light, facing your fears for your protection. We also have here for you the orphan child in the reverse or shadow attribute position. Feelings of abandonment, yes, that stifle maturation. Yeah, I think it's how you say that. Seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Yes, like I was saying, you know, I picked up on people potentially being an aspect of things that need to be cut out of your life or released. And it says here, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. So this is being around people who simply are not good for you, right? These are people who could, what is the word, please? What is the word? Like propagate or perpetuate. Thank you, Lord. That perpetuate or inhibit the things that you should be moving forward from or releasing or letting go of, or things that are not good for you, right? So just as an example, maybe alcohol is something that you should not be touching, right? Maybe it's something that is limiting to your evolution, and those surrogate families that you are around are like passing you a drink. Hey, let's go to the bar. Hey, let's go get drunk. Let's go buy a case. Let's go buy a bottle, right? And these are people that are perpetuating that. And you can apply this to anything, a behavior, a belief. Maybe you have this victim mentality, right? Where it's like, I don't have enough. And so people just show up and just give you things, right? Like that's not good either, because you don't grow at that point. You rely on other people. And if all of those people are gone, then what are you going to do? Not survive? Right? So, I mean, that's an aspect of this. Limiting your evolution could most certainly be these individuals, this surrogate families that are simply not good for you. They're not conducive for your growth, right? And I have had people that I felt very close to that were in some sense surrogate families, and I have literally had them all stripped from me, every single one of them. Because it's like, God's like, no, you have to be here. You have to figure your own strength out. You have to see yourself for what you truly are. Understanding that you are a sovereign being. And that is one of the initiations of our age, our epoch as souls. Like this is one of the initiations that we're going through, is to be sovereign beings. And I am not the only person that's picked this up. You can go to various different spiritual teachers who will repeat this, right? Like we are meant to be moving towards sovereignty in all aspects. Okay, so we also have your feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, right? Which is essentially saying, what is limiting your evolution? Well, fear of being alone. So these are things, right? This is like one of the demons here that I feel that you're meant to be facing currently. That will limit your evolution, or that will prevent you from aligning with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness. It will throw you into that de-evolutionary time stream or timeline, because you're not growing, you're not progressing, right? So we also have the seeker here in the reverse or shadow attribute position. Inability to commit to a path once found, which is so incredibly fascinating to me, right? Because I had that feeling of you may have had things like, oh, this is what I feel like I should be doing, but then fail to commit to it. Or you may have had things drop into your field, like move here, do this, work this job, connect with this person, reach out here, do this, right? And instead you're just like, oh no, I don't have the money to do that. I don't have the time to do that. I don't want to do that, right? Or you fail to make a decision. And essentially that is this, it's kind of like God dropping you blessings or angels dropping you blessings, and you just kind of, sorry, I don't need it. Right? It's like standing in the rain and somebody saying, here's an umbrella, and you're like, nah, I'll just get wet. Right? So, you know, I definitely feel like there's paths, okay, that have opened up for you. And I feel like for some of you, you've literally just turned your back on it. Like, I mean, look at this. This man has his back turned, right? And maybe it's the fear of being abandoned or rejected or being alone that has prevented you from taking those paths or committing to those paths. But I feel like, I mean, really, like I get the words, the ball is in your court. You have free will. So, you know, God, your angels can drop things to you all day long. But if you're just like, I don't want it, then that's what it is. It's a choice that you make, right? So finally, you have here the Judge in the light attribute or upright position, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So here's the thing, Virgo. I feel like the aspect of this card coming through, or the way that it's coming through for this position with this spread is, how would you say, what could be limiting your evolution is literally, it kind of feels to me like having this, and oh yes, thank you, Lord, like this need for power, right? Like, okay, I'll do this if I know why, or I'll do this if I can, you know, if I know the outcome, or something to that effect, or if it can be done perfectly, right? Like that's kind of how I'm seeing it. It's interesting because it's not really the way that it comes through, right? It's more about a feeling that's coming through with this card versus what's actually written there. Because it's like managing the fair distribution of power. So what's limiting your evolution is like trying to micromanage the universe, right? It's like, you know, you don't get to micromanage God. That's not how this works, right? Like you don't, like, and that's part of the problem with where we are currently, right? Is that we're all trying to play God down here, and we're not God. We are divine beings, certainly. We are from God, certainly, but we are not God, right? We can't make it what we want. Like, I don't know how to explain this. I don't know. For some reason, like I'm being reminded of something someone else said. Gigi Young, she has a fantastic YouTube channel that goes very deep into some of these things that I'm speaking on. But essentially, she said something along the lines of, for whatever reason, we have this belief that the universe or God is just this like catalog from the internet that we can just order whatever we want. And that's not how it works. It's not how it works. So I feel like what could be limiting your evolution here, Virgo, is that you may be trying to micromanage the universe, micromanage God, and have control over things. It's like there's just some things you just don't have control over. I hate to break it to you. Sometimes the power is in God's hands, and you have to have faith. You have to be willing to throw your feet over the edge of the bed and step the fuck off, trusting that the floor is going to be there. Or actually I was just listening to someone talk about this, and this is actually shown in the TV show The Chosen, which is absolutely fantastic, whether you are, you know, religious or not, because I'm certainly not, and I love it. But essentially, there's a time when Jesus calls Peter out of the boat, out of a boat, a floating boat, right? And Peter has to be brave and fearless and have faith and step out onto the water. Right? And I feel like this is part of it. Like you take it as it resonates with you, but that's how I'm picking this up. Right? Like what could potentially be limiting your evolution is trying to micromanage the universe or trying to like have this some sort of control over the distribution of power in your life. And there is some aspect of that, of course, because you do have free will, but God is God. It's that simple. Right? So take it how it resonates, but let's get some advice, encouragement, guidance for you. You have quite a few cards showing up here. So the first is spiritual abundance. Thank you, angels, for blessing me with infinite abundance. So what I get coming through here is partially encouragement, but also partially advice, because I feel like there are some of you with this card here using lack of money as an excuse, or some sort of lack as an excuse to not move forward. Maybe it's money, maybe it's support, maybe it's, you know, fill in the blank. But I feel like this message is coming through to say, first of all, stop complaining. Right? I mean, just to be quite frank, like that is literally what I got coming in. Stop complaining. The universe is abundant. But if you are, you know, chasing, it's going to run. Okay. I also feel like opening your heart and having faith and trusting and being grateful is only going to multiply whatever it is that you're being grateful for. I also feel like this is spiritual abundance. Like it's not so much a monetary thing as well. So I feel like there's the big message here. Like this is an inside job. Your outer world reflects your inner world. As within, so without. As above, so below. So if you are, how would you say, in a state of lack within yourself, that is what you're going to experience externally. And I know that's probably not something that many want to hear, but unfortunately that is how, I mean, well, it's not even unfortunately, I don't see it as unfortunate, but that's not how it works. Your outer world is a reflection of what you are dealing with or not dealing with internally. So if you feel that you are in a constant state of lack, that is what you will bring to you. That is what you will experience. I actually read this book, Christ Returns, where Jesus or Christ says, man cannot escape what he does, says, thinks, or feels. You create a consciousness pattern, and that is what comes back to you over and over and over again. So, you know, I feel like this is saying, like, thank you for blessing me. I feel like this is moving into a state of gratitude, and that is the advice. But it's also encouragement for you to say, you know, if you want to experience abundance, start inward. Start building your spiritual abundance. Okay? And what's interesting about that is when you start building spiritual abundance, your material abundance just falls to the wayside. Like it becomes so trivial. It becomes so minute. It doesn't even, it starts to just matter less and less and less. Right? Because you're so spiritually full that, you know, I don't even know how to explain. Like you see abundance everywhere. So there's that. You also have here study and learning. Thank you, angels, for allowing me to see that every day is a learning day. Yes. Yes, you are most certainly being taught things here. Right? There's quite a list here of some things that are limiting your evolution that are significant archetypal things. Okay, like they're significant. So you are absolutely being taught something here, right? And this is a school. Earth is a school. So you're learning or have the opportunity to do that every day. And I feel like if you were to educate yourself on, say, you know, how would we word this? If you were to educate yourself on what it means to spiritualize, to ascend, to evolve your soul, and maybe you look at ancient mystery traditions, or maybe you look at, you know, spirituality, like Eastern spirituality, like Buddhism or Hinduism, or maybe Western spirituality, esoteric Christianity, or anthroposophy, theosophy, cosmology, these sorts of things, right? Obviously, like either one is going to work, but you need some kind of something to give you some footing so that you can start to grow and move forward and understand yourself and understand what it is you're doing here and why, right? But you have to get that from somewhere. You need some kind of structure. You got to learn. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is encouragement for you, Virgo, to seek that. To seek the knowledge, to have the knowledge base, to grow your lexicon so that you have things to work with. So that you can start to face your demons. So that you can start to spiritually mature. Okay? We also have here Earth Angel. Thank you, angels, for inspiring me to be more like you. So, you know, it's really interesting here because I feel like you have, if you will, a plethora of support available to you. I feel like, you know, you are one of the, I mean, so far, you're the only group that's gotten this many angel cards to come out. And I feel like, here's the thing, how does Jesus say it? I'm probably going to word this all wrong, but he says something along the lines of like I'm not here for those who are well. I'm here for those who are sick, who need help, right? The spiritually poor. And I feel like that's why there are all these cards out here. Now, I'm not saying these things to pick on you. I'm not saying this to make you feel some type of way about yourself. I am saying this because I feel like you have assistance around you because you need it. And it is there for you, right? I feel like you may be feeling alone. You may be feeling isolated. You may be feeling like you don't have support. You may be feeling like you're at your wit's end. And I want to lovingly tell you that there are entities, beings, angels around you who are trying to help you. Now, whether or not you take that, you accept that help, you receive that help, is completely up to you. And of course, discernment is absolutely required because there are entities that will also try to take advantage of the fact that you may be lower, feeling lower rather, and will try to latch onto that. Okay, so discernment is absolutely required, but I feel like you have so much support trying to help you, to show you the path, to show you the way, to help you to get into alignment. And I feel like you're being given right now a wide variety of tools that you can use in order to do that, to free yourself, to evolve, to move forward. You also have here, yeah, synchronicity. Thank you, angels. I trust your well-timed guidance and signs. Like, you can't make that shit up. Truly. I mean, again, like I was saying, I feel like your angels can throw you things all day, but if you're just like, oh, this angel number tells me that good things are coming my way, and so you just sit at home and like wait for something good to fall in your lap, like it doesn't do nothing, right? But if you get an angel number, it's like, okay, good things are coming, you know, move towards this, or take action here, or what have you, right? Then and you apply that, That is something that can help you to grow, that can help you to evolve your soul. Okay? With the yin yang sign here as well, I feel like this is a message within itself, just the picture, to say like there are light and dark aspects to everything. Everything. And we have to be willing to be the light in the darkness. And when we're of the light, as it were, we have to be willing to understand that there is darkness there. You can't have one without the other. You have trustworthy friends as well, which is fascinating, right? Because here you have this seeking inappropriate surrogate families, right? So I feel like your angels are trying to align you with trustworthy friends. But you have to be willing to release the ones that are not, right? And so I want to lovingly say to you that if you've reached out or tried to communicate or get in touch with maybe certain people and they have not responded, or you failed to do that, or you keep missing each other or something like that, it is likely because, and I say this with so much love, but I'm being very honest here, it's what's coming through. It's likely because Spirit is protecting that other person, right? Especially if you are clinging to or are involved with these inappropriate surrogate families who are limiting your evolution, and they are ascending, or they are healing, or they are working on themselves, right? Or they're spiritually they are aware. It is likely that they are being protected. God will provide a way, your angels will provide a way for you to connect with these trustworthy friends once you release those that are not serving. Okay? God will, I don't know, for whatever reason my camera just cut off, but I will say, or just repeat, right? God or the angels will provide you a way to connect with those trustworthy friends once you release the ones who aren't. Once you make room for them. It says here, thank you, angels, for surrounding me with people I can trust and love. Right? So that will only happen if you make room for them. Because God is, here's the thing, like God, the angels are not going to put someone else in how would you say, harm's way, or in a space that's detrimental to them when they're when they're working on themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're not just gonna do that. Right? So it's like, if you want to have these people come in, I feel like the angels are saying to you, you can. They're available to you, but you have to be willing to make room for them. You have to be willing to cut those cords. Okay? And finally here, you have the miracle of nature. Thank you, angels, for helping me to reconnect through nature and fresh air. Yeah, you know, I'm actually getting like a couple of things here with this card. The first one being like actually getting outside in nature, first of all, for some of you. And I feel like another aspect of this is like fresh air, in the sense of like clearing the air. Okay. Which is weird, but I definitely feel that coming through as well. So there may be decisions that need to be made and things that need to be clarified. I'm also getting here for some of you, there's this guidance, if you will, or advice, encouragement, that once you release some of these people who maybe aren't serving you or who are detrimental to your evolution, and you want to reconnect or connect with you know, those more trustworthy people, or those that you feel called to, perhaps seeking to do that in a nature or outdoor environment. I feel like for whatever reason that could be beneficial or helpful, or a key factor or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it will help others feel more comfortable or something, but that was coming through there as well. I'm also getting this message for some of you to literally go outside and meditate. Because there's an element of like grounding here, connecting with the earth, right? Like getting in the earth and being quiet there, right? So you may be somebody who's like, oh, I'm outside all the time. Okay, but are you outside and quiet? Are you outside and still? Are you know what I'm saying? Are you outside? Are you allowing the earth and nature to provide for you, to speak to you, to bring you wisdom, right? I also feel like that's a place where you could get signs and synchronicities as well, right? Guidance. So obviously it's completely up to you what you decide to do, but I feel like, you know, being outside in nature could be very helpful for you in, again, receiving guidance, reconnecting with Earth, with the intelligence of the planet. Wow, Virgo, this has been quite heavy, but I do feel like there's a lot of powerful information here, a lot of powerful tools, if you will, that could potentially help you to definitely move forward in your evolution and create some how would you say, some headway in aligning with your highest timeline and Christ consciousness. But know that it starts with you making decisions. It starts with you choosing. It starts with you being honest and truthful with yourself and moving forward, choosing to move forward with what you've learned. Okay. And I'm not saying that to be any type of way. We have every person who has been on a spiritual journey has been in a similar space. Okay. So there is no judgment. It's just the messenger. Okay. So I hope that something here has been valuable for you. I want to thank you so very much for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, and of course your company with me. It has been an absolute pleasure to read for you. I'm so very grateful for you. So thank you. If there was something in this reading that was valuable for you or resonated with you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow, and it tells YouTube that there may be something here that's valuable or important for someone else. So I do appreciate that so very much. Again, thank you. I'm praying that this month is full of growth for you. I pray that you are able to make some decisions and step forward and break through in order to align with your highest timeline, with your purpose. So do take care of your beautiful, loving, amazing soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.